Yes, it's sad, but the story of Rambo the chicken is coming to an end. It was a very interesting experience for us to watch the process of its birth and development. Oh, and I hope you don't think this is our Rambo. It's just a patridge we bought from the store, and Rambo is out there. This is a sequel to the story of growing a chicken in a cup, and probably the last video with Rambo the chicken. Watch it till the end because it's gonna get much more interesting. After the last video, he started to grow very fast. And taking care of him became more and more problematic. And it's possible they just wanted to snatch him and eat our Rambo. Maybe they were a little scared of our mum hen made out of towels. And after a while, he became more independent and could jump on this chair. Just to catch a few flies sitting here. Just look at this chick, his baby feathers are almost gone. After another week, Rambo grew more and more to look like an adult hen or a rooster. Frankly, I still don't know what he is. Write us in the comments if you're any good at that. We got him this kind of a dollhouse, in which he can hide from the preying eyes of possible predators. But now, Rambo is no longer small. He's not a little chick anymore, but he is already an eagle that will soon start to scare off crows. But sometimes we were really worried over him. When we left him alone outside and then came back, he was nowhere to be found. And even when we called for him, he didn't come out. We already thought that something had happened to him, but he found a secret hiding spot and was resting down under a bush. Or he climbed under a tree and sat on a twig like a parrot. We picked up a stone under which there were many red ants, and you won't believe that Rambo ate all of them with great joy, despite the fact that they are poisonous and have very painful bites. Apparently, chicken digestive system is more suitable for this kind of food. You can't even imagine what it's like to have a chicken as a pet. Not outside in a cage, but at home. He was pooping at every turn, and I had to wipe his ass. In addition, we live in a rented apartment that is not ours, and we can't do whatever we want here. Therefore, every time the master of the house came with a question, we had to quickly hide Rambo and with him all of the traces of his stay. It's the same with Marlboro and Giuseppe. If he found out what kind of a zoo we're running here, I think I would have to look for new housing very quickly. We also hid Rambo from the neighbors, going out mostly in the morning while everyone was still at work or school. Rambo is already very big, and for his own good it was necessary to move him to other chickens, to a more natural environment for him. And the sooner we do it, the easier it will be to part. And now begins an interesting but true story. The moment came when we had to leave Rambo for a few days, and leaving Rambo alone at home was not the best idea, and it was even worse outside. Everything took a long time, and we decided to move Rambo on the day of the departure. In the morning we took Rambo in a box and went looking for a new home with chickens running around. We found a group of chickens in the area of one of the houses. We went to them and rang the bell. The lady came out and asked what we needed. I began to explain that we are leaving in a few hours, and this was our chicken grown from an egg, and we did it to make a video on the internet and so on. Honestly, it really wasn't easy to explain. Imagine what it had to look like from her side. In the afternoon, a strange man comes with a chicken in his hands and gives it to you. It seemed very suspicious to her and she didn't want to take the chicken. I expected that and offered her $50. After seeing the money, she made her decision and agreed. She told me to leave Rambo in the yard and that she would bring him to the others later. We quickly returned home and continued to pack our things. but the whole time I felt like I've done something wrong. I didn't like that woman very much. I realized that she only has adult chickens and they could hurt Rambo. And that I didn't really like her enclosure at all. There wasn't much space and vegetation. I felt guilty. I felt like I was giving up a friend. After all the time we spent together, I never thought I'd get used to a hen like that. And after a few hours of thinking, I started crying. Imagine that, all this because of a chicken. I got back in the car and drove back to the lady to pick up Rambo. I didn't know what to do with him, and even if I had any time to find a home for him. But I knew that I needed to get him out of there. I was emotional and of course I didn't film anything, I didn't care. But I can tell you what happened next. After arriving at her home, the woman came out again and asked me why have I come. I said I want to pick up Rambo. And she asked why did I beg her to take him in just 2 hours ago and now I want to pick him up. I replied that for some reason I needed the chicken back for something, and I was willing to pay her $50, so she was willing to give him back to me. We went looking for Rambo, but he was nowhere to be found. I found some feathers on the ground. I already thought that they were his and that something happened to him. But after 5 minutes, she brought him back to me. Fortunately, he was fine. I happily ran with him to the car and drove back. The woman didn't even take another $50. But it was unimportant to me. Now it was necessary to decide what to do with Rambo. I needed to find a place with good conditions and if possible with other chickens. But how am I going to find such a place in an hour? And then I got an idea. I went on a site of local ads and started looking for ads to sell chickens. After all, if someone sells chickens, it means they have the conditions to keep them. After looking at the photos in the ads, I chose the one that showed good conditions and very happy chickens. A woman with a pleasant voice picked up the phone. I briefly explained the situation to her and asked if they could take Rambo in. She said that she agreed. We got in the car and drove all the way to the village, which was 40 kilometers from us. We had to go very fast because I had my flight in a moment's notice. Upon arrival, we brought Rambo to the yard, which was full of chickens, ducks and other birds. It turned out that the lady was very kind, and she had many chickens who, for example, were about to get killed by their owners due to old age, but she took them in. There was also a wounded pigeon somewhere which she helped to recover. She gladly held Rambo in her arms. I was really happy. I realized it was the best place we could ever leave him at. Lots of space and fresh herbs, where he will be able to run together with small turkeys who were looking at their new friend with interest. I gave the woman money for Rambo's and the other birds' food, and we drove back to finish packing. I drove with incredible ease in my heart, because otherwise I could have never forgiven myself. But how is Rambo now? I think he's fine. The lady sent me a photo where he watches a movie about nature and a video where he bathes in mud with another chicken. But if you're interested, we'll go visit him next time and see how he has changed and grown. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss on other interesting videos.